Tales from Azeroth. As always here at the Pig and Whistle in Instalment, I go for a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. So grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy. Today's subject, we're going to be going over sort of what your class says about you. This is a sort of disclaimer, but this is my opinion. Now, obviously, this is sort of how I view people who play different classes, and this is what I've experienced in my time playing the game. These are the people that I've experienced, within the game playing these classes. People might have different opinions on this. This is just a fun little podcast, just to, put across my views on what different classes mean, pretty much, and that sort of thing. But we'll get into the weekly stuff first of all. So this week we have Cataclysm Time Walking. So you've got the dungeons from Cataclysm, get your time walking badges, get your mounts and stuff like that, your reps done. You have Oranamonos and Morgeth as your world bosses for this week. Again, Ardenweald world boss and the Moor world boss, so be sure to head over there, get your anima, get your potential conduit, stuff like that. For the mythic affixes this week, you have Fortified, you have Bursting, Storming and Tormented. So Fortified, the adds are a bit tankier and the bosses are a bit easier. Bursting, don't kill 20 things at once, you will die to the bursting stacks. Make sure that your healer isn't overwhelmed with these bursting stacks. Storming, melee, just be careful. It's nothing more to say. And obviously Tormented being your seasonal affix, where you have the 4 mini bosses. You can elect to skip some or kill them, and they'll drop anima powers, that kind of thing. The brawl for this week is South Shore versus Terra Mill. So a big 40 versus 40. If your PC can't handle it, tough luck, deal with it. If your PC can handle it, you're still going to lag. You got to deal with that as well. So you want to be a ranged character in that. You don't want to run in there as a melee. It's going to be rough for you. And finally, we have a event this week, actually. It started, beginning of this week, end of last week. It is Brewfest. So make sure that you look to get your Brewfest mount, get your bosses in, or your Brewfest boss in daily, and, head outside Ironforge, do a few fun daily quests and stuff like that. So, with what your class says about you, now, again, this is my opinion. This is going to completely differ from everyone else's opinion, and that's okay. Again, it's my experiences with the types of people that I've met with this class, and what I think as and what I think I associate with the class as a whole. So I might not necessarily experience many rogues, or I might not experience many monks or something, but my idea of the class is this. This is the sort of player who plays this class, that kind of thing. So we're starting off with the old-fashioned warrior. Now, warrior obviously being the kind of the poster boy for the very start of WoW, being very bulky, tanky, the only sort of tank in classic, as it were. You're a tough nut. You're a very tough nut to crack. You don't necessarily falter under sort of pressure. But I also think warriors want to be the centre of attention. Now, this is mainly because it's like, look at me, look how tanky I am, look how fucking, how strong I am. I'm just going to whack this thing once and it's going to keel over, that kind of thing. You want to show off. You want to show your power. You show it just by being there, by being a presence in this chonky gear. And no one can really take that away from you. You shine when a lot of people are watching, that kind of thing. there are some warriors where they're a lot more reclusive and laid back, but from what I have seen, warriors are very vocal. They're very outspoken. They definitely have their own opinions, and yeah, just like I said, very bold. To be honest, they're a very bold sort of type of people, and which is good. Again, all of these are my opinion. You're going to get all of these different types of people that I will mention are what make World of Warcraft. They all make World of Warcraft and they give it the community that it is. You need people who are bold, you'll need people who are a little bit more reclusive, that kind of thing. So all of these people have their place within WoW, and this is what makes the community so vibrant and so alive, to be honest. Moving on to Hunter, I personally look at Hunters and think they're very chilled. They're very sort of backseat gamers. I'm going to say it. They're backseat gamers, backseat drivers, however you want to say it. Yeah, it's the people who go, oh, watch out for that pothole when you're driving, or make sure you turn left here, make sure you indicate, or they're very much, oh, you should have pressed that button, or you should have, done this instead, you should do that, you should press this, that kind of thing. Now, I'm not going to lie, I do that. I very much do that. If I'm dead on a game, I'll be dead, and I'll be spectating people, and I'll be like, oh, you should do this. Well, they've done better than me because I'm dead. So I just need to shut my mouth a bit. But I see hunters as very chilled and sort of backseat, mainly because of their pets. Their pets are very much up front, in your face, and it's just, yeah, go on, you go do that. I'll just sit back here and watch what you do, that kind of thing. I'll just sit at the back, I'll just watch. I'll just have a slice of pizza while auto-attacking in like a raid in TBC or whatever. It's that kind of thing. So, again, but every hunter I've met is very chilled. I can't think of a hunter that's not, to be honest. In my WoW life, I don't think I've met a hunter that is very uptight or anything, in all honesty, and that's pretty impressive. To be honest, out of the many players who play hunters, I would consider them the most chilled class. And the more sort of, you should be doing this, you should be not doing that, but I think everyone's got a little bit of that in them. I certainly do, so I'm not going to scrutinise that one too much. For Priest, now, Priest is very much your good guy, almost. It's... If you have played a single player game or like a co-op game, you've always got a good guy and a bad guy. Priests for me embody what the good guy is, bold, courageous, helpful, all of that sort of stuff. They want you to succeed in the game. They are the enablers. Now, Shadow Priests are a completely different work. Or a completely different story, I should say, to be honest. But every priest wants you to succeed, even if they're shadow. They might not say it, but they want you to succeed. They're kind of like the hunters. They're very chilled, but I deem them as the good guys within a solo video game or something like that. They are what, the not hero. Yeah, the hero of the game embodies, and I think that's the way that I view them. I view priests as very not high and mighty. That's not the way to go about it. It's they're very much there to pat you on the back and keep you moving. That kind of thing. That's the best way that I can describe it. And that's what I love about them. They're very calm in doing so as well. They very much pump you up to keep going, keep pushing, and that kind of thing within the game. And like I said, they are enablers. Though the healing priests are any sort of healing spec, to be honest. I'm going to, go off on a little bit of a tangent here. Any healing spec, so restoration druids, restoration shamans, holy paladins, mistweaver monks. You've actually got not that many healers, I'm not going to lie. Or variations. Well, I thought there was at least a couple more. But all of these people are enablers and they want what's best for everyone else. Now, everyone wants what's best for everyone within the game, of course. But these types of people put everyone else above themselves. That's the thing. Some people do that constantly. Now, don't get me wrong. If you do that, then that's perfect. But this is what I sort of... this is where I put healers. And more specifically, this is where I put sort of healing priests in this category. Now, Shadow, again, they're very much enablers. They very much look to keep you topped up and healed. If you're in an arena situation or if you're in like a raid in TBC, they're very much giving you mana, that kind of thing. So they are enablers still, and priests are just great to have in the game, and the people who play priests are just as great. Mages, they're the best players ever. I'm going to say that right now. In TBC, whoever plays a mage is the best player ever. That's all I'm going to say on that. No, I'm joking. So I play mage in TBC, obviously. Now, some mages are people who want to ruin your day. I'm not going to lie. I log on to my mage and I don't necessarily think I'm going to ruin this person's day. If people get on my nerves within the game, I have the potential to ruin their day. And that's kind of what I like. It's very power hungry, I'm not going to lie. Mages are very sort of power hungry because they have everything. They have defense, they have offense, they have cooldowns, they have immunities, they have absolutely everything. They're power hungry, I'm not going to lie. And this is why I picked Mage in Classic. This is why I main Mage in TBC. Now, I've mained Mage in Retail before as well, but I main a Druid now. Again, Mage is still one of my max levels. So I'm very power hungry when it comes to my classes. I very much like knowing or having a little bit of everything. And it's very nice to know that I've got a little bit of everything, because I can get myself out of danger. I can get, I can get kills easily, that kind of thing. So definitely power hungry mages, I would say. And that's sort of what I would use to describe the players playing it. Some people might not be. Again, this is just the way I view it, and this is how I view myself playing as a mage. So don't take that one in any bad sort of way. Rogues. You know where I'm going with rogues. They're the same as the mage, but more devious. They are absolute bitches to get. Not all rogues are like this. There's a specific section of rogues that I know, and they know who I'm talking about. Everyone knows who I'm talking about. The rogues in Stranglethorn Vale, the max level rogues in Stranglethorn Vale, the ones who will kill you when you're killing a quest mob, the ones who will kill you when you're at half health eating and drinking, the ones that will kill you when you're running away from a mob that's too tough for you. They're the ones that no one likes, firstly. But I would class every sort of rogue as devious. They're the ones lurking in the background. They're the ones sitting in a dark corner, just having a glass of water next to them, like swirling it about or whatever, sitting in a little rocking chair, and you turn on the light downstairs and they're just there, and you're like, oh, okay, what are you doing here? They're very devious. As a class, as a player base, rogues are most devious of people, I would say. But there are some, there are some cases for rogues that I don't even want to go into that. Everyone knows what I mean, and everyone will have a different word for them. Let's just say that. We'll leave it at that one. But yeah, the rogues in Stranglethorn Vale, them sort of ones, we've all experienced it, and we all have our own thoughts about them. Monks, this one's tough because I play a lot of Shadowlands PvP, and monks at the moment are not what I want to associate them with, but I would say a monk player is very peaceful and calm in their demeanour. Now, again, I play Shadowlands PvP. I get spinning crane kicked for 70% of my health, I flip out, and the person behind the other monitor is probably sat there like, he just, I just one-shot him. All right, let's go next game. So it's very much that sort of thing. I think they're smart players. Monks I deem as quite smart players. Now, again, every player and every class has smart players. Don't get me wrong. I just think monks are very smart players, mainly because of the rolling. And this can actually apply to mages as well, I'm not going to lie. But the stuff that allows you to teleport forward. Or teleport forward, or, make a quick movement in a direction, that kind of thing. So monks roll or chi torpedo. Mages blink, that kind of thing. Anything like this, I assume people have a very smart brain to process it, because it's like, okay, I know exactly where I'm going to blink. I know exactly what I need to do when I get there. And it's very organised. That's probably the best way I can describe it. Monks are very organised with how they lay out stuff, and I think it shows with how they play the class, because it's very much a class where you have to know what you have to press next. As you're doing multiple different spells constantly, it's a blackout kick, and then it's a tiger's palm. It's you get more damage by not pressing the same ability. So monks I deem as a very smart class to play, and the people who play it well and effectively are very smart as well. Again, all of these classes, players are very smart when playing these classes. All of these classes can be played to an absolute insane level, and the people who do it are absolutely, they're smarticles, as I would call them. But monk, I just sort of deem them as sort of mathematicians almost, like that sort of thing. It's just they know what they're doing. Demon Hunter is a fast boy. Now, you don't slow down. You're 110% on everything. If you stop during the day, then something's wrong. You can't be doing that. You can't be stopping. Something's got to be happening. You've got to be cleaning. You've got to be playing. You've got to be doing some work. You've got to be whatever. Whatever it is, you've got to be doing something. You can't sit down, and you can hear it just in my voice. This is the sort of high intensity that Demon Hunters sort of want. They want it constant. They want it fast paced. They want it absolutely everything. Everything's bouncing around off the wall, that kind of thing. It's really tough to keep up, isn't it? It's... that's how I imagine Demon Hunters. And this is how everyone talks in sort of high-level PvP play, to be honest, I'd say. If you... I watch multiple streamers with, like, WoW PvP, and if you listen to the sort of comms that they have, this is how I imagine Demon Hunters just talk all the time, Demon Hunter players. It's very fast-paced, and it's absolutely insane. There's no slowing down. The class is absolutely rapid in itself. This is how I imagine it, and I don't want to imagine it any other way. I just like thinking, like, as they're fell rushing forward, they're talking as fast as they're fell rushing, that kind of thing. So I think this is the best way to sort of describe them, in my opinion. Paladin. Now, for me, Paladins are very calm and collective. It's very dependent on what spec you are. Again, I don't think any of the spec really changes my outlook on Paladins that much. I think all Paladin classes are, and the players who play them obviously, are very calm and collective players. You know what you're going to do. You sort of know the limitations of the class. It's a lot easier to know the limitations than, say, maybe a warrior or something, or a hunter, that kind of thing. But I would say Paladin is very calm, just because of the way that it's perceived in game. It's very much a warrior of the light. You're using the light to heal, protect, that kind of thing. And anything to do with light within game or real life, it's very much a calming sort of thing. If you're in a dark room, your imagination goes wild. You're thinking, oh my god, there's a ghost in that corner. Oh my god, what the hell's in that corner? I just heard a noise. What the hell is that? And your imagination's going wild. If you flick on a light, you can see everything. You're calm. you don't hear noises. You're not thinking that something's behind you. You're not thinking something's in the corner. You're a lot calmer in light than you are in dark, and this is what I imagine paladins to be. I'm just realising, but I really need to point this out because I don't know why. But as I'm talking about, something in the corner, I'm literally pointing to the corners, like you can see. It's yeah, it's something that I guess I just do. I use my hands to vocalise a lot. Even now I'm using it, but I'm pointing as though you can actually see that I'm pointing towards a corner, and it's just quite funny to me, to be honest. Moving on to shaman, I would say that you're very laid back, and I would class shamans as the sort of pranksters in World of Warcraft. Now, this can be due to the fact that they have Purge. So in Classic, there was a Purge meta, and what this was is people would get world buffs from Daimel. World buffs are very strong in WoW Classic. They gave your character very good buffs for endgame, and what shamans could do, and priests, was dispel these buffs. Now, these buffs took about 20-30 minutes to get, and they were very good. But generally, you'd want to keep them for a raid, and you didn't necessarily want them to go to waste. So there was this thing called the Purge meta, where shamans, priests, or whatever, I say mostly, I think it was mostly Horde, but again, I'm Alliance, so I only saw Horde doing it. But Horde players, Horde shamans and priests, would go and camp these spots where world buffs were. So there would just be a dead orc in Stormwind for hours on end. And all he would do was wait as a ghost to see if people with world buffs ran by. He would click on them. He would resurrect, or, res, press purge, and purge, and purge, and then he's dead. And that was it. If he got a world buff, he got a world buff. If he didn't, then he would just run back and try it again on someone else. This is all people would do for several hours, all day. And out of them several hours, about 6 hours. So I'll give you a measurement of time here. 7 hours they spend in the Stormwind. 6.5 hours of that is dead as a ghost, just clicking on people and looking at their buffs. I don't know where they got the time from. I don't know why they do it, but they do it. Now, this is what the Purge or the world buff meta was. People didn't like it, and shamans and priests took full advantage of dispelling. I found it quite funny, because when people would... if people were annoying me, and people annoy me a lot, mainly because I'm quite easily annoyed, either in like a competitive game or whatever. But if people would annoy me and I'm going to raid, and I see that they're raiding as well, and they get their world buffs dispelled. Now, again, I didn't get Daimel Tribute. I got dispelled once with Daimel Tribute, and I thought, I can't be asked. It's too much of sort of an annoyance to get. It's very much tedious, and I don't necessarily want to spend part of my day, stressing over virtual buffs in a game. So I didn't get them. But I got purged, and I was like, yeah, I can't be asked with this anymore. If people really took world buffs seriously, by the way. Like, it was insane how serious they took world buffs. But if someone had annoyed me and they got their world buffs dispelled, I would low-key be quite happy, because I know that person's been, like, taking about half hour out of their day to get these buffs, are stressing about losing them, and think that they're the absolute, they're an absolute baller for getting these buffs, and they're going to absolutely destroy the raid, and everyone who doesn't have them is beneath them, that kind of thing. And then they get it purged off, and it's like, yeah, well, welcome to the scrub club, as it were. It's quite funny. It's quite funny, I'm not going to lie, and it was quite enjoyable. So I class shamans as jokesters, to be honest. It was very funny just watching them res in Stormwind press purge twice and then die and hope that they got a world buff or two. It was something. But again, I think they're very laid back. They probably just did this on a second monitor, to be honest, and watching YouTube or something. I don't know. Could have been anything. But they are definitely the jokesters in my eyes. Warlock, I think everyone knows what Warlocks are like. They're very edgy. I would say they're very much, demons, woo, that kind of thing. They're the sort of people who sit in a corner at parties. You know, they're the sort of kid who's like, oh my god, who's that over there? And it's like, oh, that's just Derek, you know. He doesn't really talk to many people. It's that kind of thing. And you just see them at a party in the corner. They don't move for about an hour and 20. They get up, get another drink, and go back to that corner. It's that kind of thing. They just stare at people in the corner. This is how I imagine Warlocks, to be honest, from a day-to-day basis. But, you know, I've met some nice Warlocks, but this is just how I imagine them out of the game, to be honest. It's just whenever they're not in the game, they're sat in a corner, you know, drinking something, just sat in the dark. Kind of like rogues a bit, but they're still known. They're not, you know, trying to be deceptive or devious or anything like that. They're just sort of, I'm here, I'm existing. Druids. Now, I main a druid in retail, and the best way I can describe it is you don't know what you want. I have no idea what I want as a druid. I want to be everything. I want to be a tank, I want to be a healer, I want to be a DPS. No, I want to be this DPS actually. I want the flexibility. I'm a very flexible person, and I can adapt to multiple situations. So this is the best way to describe it. I want to be able to do everything. Maybe not everything perfectly, but I want to be able to do everything, a little bit of everything. Crowd control, damage, healing, peel, that kind of thing. So flexibility is the best way to describe it, but also I don't know what I want. I always want to play a Boomkin, but Boomkin isn't great. At the moment in like PvP and stuff like that, it's a lot tougher. So I go Feral. And I've got another druid that's, you know, a Resto druid. And it's a different covenant and that kind of thing. So I really don't know what I want from the druid. I love the class. I love everything about it. I love becoming a bear. I love becoming a cat. Travel form. I love becoming a bloody seal just to swim faster. I love everything about it. And again, I like being flexible on the go within the game. I won't have to make an ult just so I can say, like, I main a mage in retail. I don't have to make an ult just so I can, you know, be a tank as a warrior or something. I can just, you know, press this specialization, guardian specialization, and become a tank. It's that easy. I can be very flexible on the fly. And finally, we have Death Knights. Death Knights, they're the same as Warlocks, aren't they? Let's face it. They're very edgy. Warlocks kind of had their bubble burst when Death Knights were introduced. It's like, but we're the edgelords, and it's, this is the person in the opposite corner of the party who's maybe like smoking or vaping or something like that. And they don't have the drink, they have the vape or something. And I don't really know what else to say about Death Knights. They are very much Warlocks. They're straight thinkers is the best way to put it. They know what they want. They know what they're doing. They have an agenda and they're there to do it. That kind of thing. They're very systematic, I would say. That's probably the same with Warlocks as well. Very systematic, very much organised in what they want to do, what they know. They don't have to, you know, big themselves up to people. They don't have to be the centre of attention. They don't have to be a supporting class. They do their job and they do it well and they do it very strategically. They're thinkers. They are very smart people. But that is the last class. Again, all of these are very much... It's a very light-hearted podcast this week. It's something that I just have my own opinions on. Other people might completely disagree with what I say. Other people might think warriors aren't the sort of centre of attention. They might think that they're very passive. I won't agree with you on that. That's fine. Everyone's had their own experiences with these classes and the players who have played these classes within the game. This is just sort of what I've seen when I've like when I've played the game, the people that I've played with, and just as the class as a whole, I, imagine that this is the person behind that other monitor. No one's ever right. Everyone will play play monks differently. Everyone will be different, by playing a monk. Some people might be very forward. Some people might be very reclusive. Again, it's completely different and completely, opinion based. It's just a little bit of fun, to be honest, having a look at all the different classes and what you associate with the person behind the, character is. Hi there, Warcraft fans. It's just me again. Wanted to thank you for your time in listening to this week's podcast. I love making these for you all, and I couldn't be happier in doing so. Seeing the downloads go up and up each week is amazing. You can show your support more by something as simple as rating this episode, or by dropping me a question via email that I can answer in a later podcast. To take it that extra step further and really show that you love the content that's being produced, you can check out the Pig and Whistle Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee page. Either of these would be a massive help to continue what I'm doing right now for you guys. Thank you all very much for your time, and go with Valor, friend.